Who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they might'st feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Oh, that didn't work.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the line.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
Watch CPS Victims Hunting Justice every Monday through Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time to learn about the destruction of families. Join us on this journey as we shine a light on the struggles and seek justice for those affected by CPS intervention. Together, let us raise awareness and work towards creating a better future for our children and families. Tune in to CPS Victims Hunting Justice and stand with us in the fight for a fair and just child protection system.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
Okay, I'm here somewhere, but I just don't know where. What's up, everybody? I am your host, the CPS Punisher. I don't even know if you can hear me or see me. There I am. Here I am. I've been found. What's up, everybody? It is me, the CPS Punisher. How are you all? I hope you all had a good CPS-free weekend. This is CPS Victims Hunting for Justice. I want to thank everybody for showing up here. Like I said, hopefully your weekend without CPS was without CPS and your friends without CPS and so on. That's what we like to hear. Brenda, yes, your shirts have been ordered. They're on the way because we have a whole bunch of new apparel too, guys, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit here. But don't forget, we have this chat that's right here. This way, right there. Boom, right there where Brenda's written that question to me that you need to talk to me. That's a chat. We have questions for you guys. If you guys want to come on, you have questions for us that you can ask. Please do so. I'm going to bring out Melissa and Herbert here, and let's say hello to the gang here. I don't know where Josie is, guys, but she'll be around somewhere. Josie pops up, here and there. No, I don't like that. Sorry about that. Herbert, how are you, bud?
Fine. How are you, Darren?
I'm good. Hey, what'd you think of this new cartoon guy?
I am the CPS Punisher, and I am here to share an important message with you. Remember, every minute in the USA, a child is taken by CPS. Watch CPS Victims Hunting Justice every Monday through Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time to learn about the destruction of families. Join us on this journey as we shine a light on the struggles and seek justice for those affected by CPS intervention. Together, let us raise awareness and work towards creating a better future for our children and families. Tune in to CPS Victims Hunting Justice and stand with us in the fight for a fair and just child protection system.
What'd you think of that, Herbert?
I think it's pretty cool. Did you put that together?
Yeah, I mean, me and the help of some AI, but yeah, I mean, I have to write the things, you know. There's a couple of them that I did. But yeah, that's right. That's what we would put that on TikTok. So I mean, hopefully we have some people that were from TikTok that are checking us out, seeing what we're doing. You know. Hey
I
Herbert,
think that's a great idea.
I talked to a lady today who was right up your alley, and she has been in the business. Well, I guess to say in the business, she has fought CPS for 25 years. She's very much on the same page with you as the education and prevention. So I need to get you her number after the show. She's going to come on with us, I think, Thursday. She's very excited. And I told her about what you're doing and how you're trying to educate people. She's very excited.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get you up and running and you got some Herbert power in you. You know what I mean? You need to get out there and get that stuff out there and spreading the word, so we don't have to worry so much when people are away on the weekends. You know, I mean, how many kids do you think got taken away on the weekend?
Half as many as during the weekday, because those workers are too fucking lazy to work weekends.
In terms of the police getting involved with CPS around the United States, I'm going to say maybe a couple dozen.
A couple dozen?
With the police, like Melissa just said, that during the week there's more. On the weekends,
there is.
You don't have.
A lot of states do not have. A lot of states, especially like Michigan and stuff, on the weekends, they don't have specialty workers unless like there's a kid dying.
Well, yeah. So what, does imminent danger only work when on the weekdays? Is that the deal?
No, but imminent danger works all 7 days a week. But you said the weekend. I'm assuming you're talking Saturday and Sunday.
What it is if they get a report in on a Saturday, they won't investigate it till Monday.
The police will investigate it immediately.
No, they won't.
The police will be involved immediately.
No,
the
they
police
won't.
will be involved.
Herbert, they will not. When you call CPS,
when you call CPS, they have a recording that says, "This is an emergency. Dial 911."
Yeah, but even if you call 911, a lot of times, especially like in Michigan, if you say that John Smith is out in his front yard beating the kid, they're going to tell you to call the 800 number of CPS.
Well, I mean, unless the kid's actually getting like smashed.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
This is an actual, you know.
Right. And we all can agree that every state is different with CPS. But to answer your question, Darren, I would say at least a couple of dozen between Saturday and Sunday.
So we know statistics tell us that's a child a minute. So we'd tone that back on the weekend. So we'd say just a child a state, so 50 kids.
Yeah, if you look at all the states.
Based on all the states I've worked with and how many workers you see on the weekend, I would say we go from a child a minute to maybe a child every 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for the numbers right now, seeing if we can come up with anything on that. What about anybody that's watching? What do you guys think? You throw it in the chat, see what you guys think. What's your numbers? How many kids over the weekend got taken into CPS custody? I'd really like to know that.
Now, we're talking throughout the United States, not any particular state, right?
Right, yeah, throughout this country. So, it says there are 600,000 children abused in the United States each year that were victims of abuse and neglect in 2020. Okay, my bad. So that's what CPS says. The actual number of children abused is likely underreported because of the ongoing COVID. Yeah, I already asked you that. So this says children in the first year of their life are 15% of the victims. More than a quarter, 28% of the child maltreatment victims are no more than 2 years old.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know the system specifically seeks out the younger children. They want less than the age of 4. I mean, every state that I've ever went through and looked up the statistics of who's in that state, 70% of the kids in there are under the age of 4.
Yeah. So girls are 8.7 per thousand that get abused, and the boys are 7.5 per thousand. So that's not too much of a big difference there. And get this. American Indian or Alaska Native children have the highest rate of victimization at 15.2 per thousand children.
Well, yeah, I mean, ICWA protects the tribal families in a way that they are definitely not always nice to the kids, but, a lot of the tribal families are very poor. I've worked with a lot of ICWA kids, and their families are poor, they're struggling, there's a lot of drugs. The casinos put a lot of money into the reservations, and it's like a free-for-all to go get high.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, but you know what? It's good that they do that, because a lot of these people, these reservations, they get checks, they get, they get bonus checks, they get, it's a good little, this is the Indian reservation system is a good thing for those people. I mean, they have been, stricken from their land and removed. No wonder there's a lot of, I don't know so much now, the number of alcohol and drug-related things there are in the Indian.
On the tribes, it's huge. There is a high amount. Yes, it is. Yes. From the checks they get, because it's pretty much free money. You go into a county jail anywhere near a reservation, and it is full of Indians on the first half of the month.
I'm sure.
And they were either beating the shit out of their other house. They was beating the shit out of their other half, or they were in there for drug or alcohol related charges.
Let's see here.
You know what I found out living in Michigan with all those tribes, little tribal areas around us?
Don't wear a feather out on Saturday night?
No. Don't give the woman fire water. She gets mean.
Yeah. We're going to get knocked off the air for this conversation. So, all right. First contact by the NCA National Statistics say 0 to 6 years, 104,927. 7 to 12 years of age, 142,212. 13 to 18 years, 132,547. Something seems awful wrong there. That seems like those numbers are backwards. That's the numbers of alleged offenders. The number of children, hurt in those things. Parents are the number one overall abuser of the children by 102,319. Other relative is 59,000. Step parents 17,000. Some change.
Hey, do they have a spot in there for foster parents abusing kids?
That's what I'm looking for, actually. They have parents, boyfriend or girlfriend. Then they have
still not a foster parent.
No, it says other known persons is 71,795, and then there's unknown. But yeah, that's what I was exactly what I was looking for, was the number of foster children or foster family statistics to see when your kids go into care. How many? And this was coming from the National Children's Alliance Center is where I'm getting these from. Let's see if they have any more of these. But let me check here and see what they have for the foster care.
Well, because I mean, I think if they say that a child in foster care is 6 times more likely to be abused, if 1 in 10 out of every primary parent and 6 out of 10 of everyone in foster home if you break it down on that kind of scale, there's 5,800 kids in foster care in the state of Alabama. And Alabama is one of the most rural states there is. It's a huge state, but there's not a very huge population. And we have 6,000 kids in care. Can you imagine how many are being abused by their foster parents or the group homes? I mean, they just started a class action lawsuit against 2 of the juvenile nut wards here in Alabama because the staff was beating up the kids. They were raping the kids. They were getting the kids high. All kinds of crazy shit.
Now, see, here we just listened to that other stat, right? Well, we read them off. It says here, about 1 in 6 of these children were physically abused. 10% were sexually abused. I'm in the looking at the foster children thing, but this is what they come up with. So it says 8 in every 1,000 kids under 18 were confirmed victims of maltreatment. In 2020 and 2021, after holding steady at 9 per 1,000 from 2015 to 2019, of approximately 585,000 victims in 2021, 3 in 4 experienced neglect. Consistently the most common type of maltreatment. So neglect is the most crazy. So that's CPS being able to come up with whatever they want. About 1 in 6 of these children were physically abused, 10% were sexually abused, 6% were emotionally abused, 2% experienced medical neglect. Young kids are the most at risk, as 70% of verified victims were 10 and under in 2021. So yeah, that goes in line with the statistic that you just said there. But CAC says different.
Of course they do. It just depends on who's sticking the most money in their pocket.
All right. So then the following selection of foster care statistics from Kids Count. Let's see.
Yeah, you still live here. That's all I do.
Children in foster care. Children in foster care by age. Children gender. Rates children in foster care. All right, so this one's not going to show us what the abuse in foster care is going to be. So we're not going to get that there. Where can I get those statistics? If anybody out there has any of those where I can get those numbers, that would be really great. Not that they're great at statistics, but it would be great to see how many abuse cases there are in these foster homes. Let's see. This says the latest data shows that 214,542 children and youth exited foster care in 2021. Just under half were reunited with their parents, down from 57% in 2000. 17% of kids go to adoptive homes. 12% of the same. Other outcomes for children and youth who cannot return to their parents include living with other relatives, emancipation. So they have 6% and 9%. Where's the rest?
Right.
Where do those numbers go to?
They're stuck in limbo.
Yeah. They're missing MIA. Those are the ones that were probably, Okay, alarming foster care statistics that cannot be ignored. Okay, here we go. All right. The Child Welfare Service Compromised Organization, federal, state, local incident. Okay, let's get to it. Kids Count data, information. How many children in the welfare system? According to Kids Count's data, over 600,000 children are in the welfare system due to maltreatment. This has it at 41% or 0 to 4, 31 to 5 to 10, 14, 11 to 13, 15% at 14 to 17, 52% are female, 48% are male. Again, what's the most common reason for this abuse?
Other than abuse.
And which abuse isn't even the number one reason. What's the number one reason that they take kids?
They probably call it a mental
malnutrition.
Neglect.
Malnutrition, neglect.
What, man? 76% of the cases. So that means that we give them a running number. Let's talk about that. What is a definition of neglect?
Hold on.
Should we pull that up? We want to see.
I was gonna look it up in Westlaw.
Yeah, let's see. Herbert, what's your source? Well, you got one that you want to look up? Let's compare these three. You got something?
Yeah, I don't have a source. But neglect sounds like it would be that way. I did some research to find out that a lot of times children are having issues at home, and they share it with their teachers in school.
Yeah, but they call neglect. Letting your older kid.
As a result of sharing that information with the teacher, teacher takes them down to the assistant principal's office, and the assistant principal and principal get involved, and they contact CPS.
Yeah.
And that's the child. And that's the child talking to the school.
Yeah, but you got to look at the definition of what they call neglect. But in my case, they tried to argue that I neglected my younger kid because my 17-year-old daughter watched him long enough for me to run to the dollar store to go buy a gallon of milk.
Right. So that's not neglect, clearly. I mean, we all have our 12 and 13-year-olds watch our kids, so 17 is more than suffice.
Oh, yeah, no, they actually called it abandonment.
Jesus Christ. What does Westlaw say neglect is?
I'm pulling it up right now.
I'm going to get the Black's Law Dictionary version.
So as a result of my scenario that I found out, then there's a relationship between CPS and the police to visit the parents to ascertain if the information that the child has told the teacher in his school is accurate or not.
Right, it opens a full-on investigation.
Yes. So therefore, the child waved the CPS flag. Well, no, the child waved the flag that brought CPS into the family's life because the way the child was treated at home, and goes to school feeling bad, and the teacher picks up on it.
Yeah, and then the child gets in more trouble for going to the teacher, and that's a vicious cycle for them to be involved. But
but sometimes the kids ain't treated bad at home. They just want attention.
The child may not be getting attention, or feels, like you said, Melissa, not getting attention, or something's going on where the child goes to school and rolls up in a corner during class.
Oh,
and that's when the teacher picks up on something's wrong.
My daughter would go to school. She would walk out of her classroom, go hang out down in the bathroom because she didn't want to do her work. And then she'd come home and tell us that people in the school were sexually harassing her and beating her and mistreating her. And then she'd go to the school and tell them just the same about our house. Not because anyone was being mean to her, but just because she wanted that pity party attention because she was an older teenager that just didn't want to listen to rules.
That I understand. I get it, Melissa. But there are other children that are having issues at home where mommy and daddy are verbally fighting each other, physically fighting each other, and the child is exposed to that, and they go to school and they share it with Miss Susie High Heel Round Shoes, their second or third grade teacher. So when Susie Round Heel High Shoes expresses that to the assistant principal, that's when CPS gets called.
But
this is something that I've actually researched and found out about.
So this thing it says if you're not a lawyer and you don't regularly watch Judge Judy, you might wonder what is negligence. If you have been involved In an accident, negligence is where your potential claim starts. That's not neglect. That's negligence. Negligence. No, we don't want negligence. We want neglect.
Well, I should be giving you the most extreme version of it because my Westlaw, because Charles is using it to write a motion right now. So I'm stuck on California jurisdiction.
Okay. Well, what do they say neglect is?
It takes it half a second to load. Yeah, ain't that about the half of it?
Yes, it's always a load in there. The woman who gave birth to a child means child abuse. Okay. Oh, that's Herbert, have you ever seen the Oh, okay. I don't know where Karnataka is. That sounds far.
Favorite place?
Yes. Me and my vacation.
You just started out. Have I seen what, Darren?
Here, legal dictionary. Have you ever looked at one of the manuals for these people?
Have I looked at one of the main what?
Have you ever looked at a CPS? Have you ever looked at a CPS, like a caseworker's manual?
No, I have not.
No, you haven't. Okay, I'm gonna have to send that to you. You'll be which I've just sent them out too. I'm sorry, guys, I got a little bit behind this last week on the emailing you guys these things. I will make sure I get to it tonight. As soon as this show is over, I will make sure everybody that requested things for me that I emailed them, that I will make sure I do that tonight. But I got this. So Oxford Languages says neglect is fail to care for properly. That's the verb. And the noun is the state or fact of being uncared for. That's what I have for neglect under the Oxford Language Dictionary. So those are the two definitions for there. As soon as we get done this, Melissa will have the Westlaw version.
Yeah, it's printing out right now. Problem is it gives me about 40 pages of cases, and then it gives me the overview summary of it.
I thought you were going to say it gave you like all those. You know what I hate is when you're printing pages and it's like 275 pages and they all have like one thing at the bottom. You have 3 cases.
Oh, no, these are cases. It gives me a summary of each case. So it says, it cites the relevant several, where is it? It says there's several definitions for neglect, such as emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, and environmental. It says in summary, different forms of neglect under the different titles of neglect have different levels of which a person can be held accountable. And it goes on to further say that in a dependency proceeding, they only have to prove in the shelter, at the time of shelter, that there was a form of neglect to establish grounds for removal.
A form. That's ridiculous.
So, yeah, it's extremely vague.
Right, and I know we've done this before, but what's imminent? Can you pull imminent up there? Imminent.
Yeah.
Imminent. Let's see what imminent says, because what I'm getting at is this: is that so we got no CPS coming out on the weekends. And then we have 2 very, very, which I know we've done this before, but for people that are new and just checking us out, when you hear this definition of imminent, is very, very vague. So you have a government agency that doesn't work on weekends, that is supposed to be protecting our children, that will come and rip the kids out of your home Monday through Friday for something as simple as a stain on a shirt or something that's neglectful. Which is vague, and that can be up to the caseworker to do whatever they say or say whatever they want it to be neglect. Or they can use the term imminent and go to a courthouse and get themselves a warrant and come and steal your child. But let's not bother them on the weekend. We can't do that. We don't have imminent problems on the weekends, and we don't have neglect on the weekend. How does this make any sense? At all. These things need to be buttoned down. These terms need to be very specific. They need to have exact meaning to them. Like, what is neglect? What is an imminent danger? And these are the situations that are to be relevant or for the use of removing a child. Because we know studies say, guess what? Don't take the kids out even if they're being abused. Because the trauma that they get from being removed from the home far that supersedes of the majority of the abuse that they're actually receiving, if they're receiving it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need to just eliminate those words, period. Because they are just rogue words. That gives them a green card to do whatever they freaking want. All they have to say is imminent or neglect, and they're coming to take your kids as long as it's Monday through Friday.
So the definition of imminent danger varies slightly depending on the specific legal context, but generally refers to a situation that poses an imminent likely to risk the health or safety requiring a urgent action. According to West and California Civil Code 1867, imminent danger is the context or special occupancy perk, meaning a danger that poses immediate and likely risk to the health and safety of the guest. And then it gives me the law. It is defined as behaviors that reasonably certain will cause substantial risk of death or serious physical injury. The legal case, imminent danger, often relates to the justification for an action such as a self-defense or emergency intervention. For instance, the case of People versus Aries emphasizes the danger justifies a homicide must be imminent.
Right.
Require response.
It's going to be damn near.
It says right here, requires an immediate response to avert harm and not just fear of further or potential danger. Moreover, the legal interpretation also underlines that imminent peril must appear. Imminent must be dealt with instantly. People versus Lopez, 2011.
So write that one down, people, right there. People versus Lopez, because can you read that one more time, Melissa? Do you mind?
All of the second paragraph, or just part of it?
Just that last part, really, that you said. That what it explained imminent is what? I mean, that last bit you said.
The imminent peril must appear imminent and must be dealt with instantly.
There you go, right there.
And it says it must emphasize that the danger justifies homicide or imminent, requiring immediate response to avert harm or fear of further potential of danger. Moreover, the legal interpretation underlines that imminent peril must appear imminent and must be dealt with instantly.
Right. So
and that's the People versus Lopez, 4th Circuit, 2011.
So all of you out there that are getting your kids removed by imminent danger situations, refer your attorneys to People versus Lopez, or use that yourself, because that clearly states, first of all, I hope if you were going to try to murder your kid that you're in jail and not watching our show, to be perfectly honest. Secondly, assuming that you weren't trying to murder your kid, I'm sure you didn't do anything that was near even close to that.
And here's another thing that it says. It says the definition aligns with the other jurisdictions' interpretation where imminent danger necessitates an immediate action as seen in the context ranging from self-defense to emergency response by law enforcement or other emergency services. Right. Overall, imminent danger is consistently characterized across various statutes and causes a threat or condition that requires an immediate action due to its potential to cause serious danger, if not death.
Right. That's what I've always said. The imminent danger has got to be like, all hell is breaking loose. You know? Like that's, I mean, but what was the imminent danger in your case that they could
I placed my 17-year-old on probation to make her do counseling.
Right. So that was your imminent danger for your kids. You know, mine was, we don't even have words. You're not going to be able to see in writing the reason that they became.
Well, actually, they said that I was not indicated for risk of harm. So, yeah, right, no, so, they openly admit that there's no imminent danger. And there never was.
Right. But except for they still took kids anyway.
Well, sure. You know, I mean, they made their Title IV funding, plus they made $140,000 in the last 2 years off our Social Security.
Right.
Oh, that's it. Speaking of them stealing my money, how about, you'll love this one. Tomorrow, I'm going to child support court, right? On Sarah, whose case is already closed out and out of the system, and Annabella, who the judge told me not to pay her thing. I actually have a recording of him telling me not to pay it because I knew that he did not make record from that. How about now? They're also filing child support against me on my son Junior, but my son gets more money than I make in a month.
Right.
He gets almost $3,000 in Social Security, and they want me to pay child support. In what lifetime? I get $1,000 a month. That's all I can do to keep my lights on.
$3,000 a month. So
and they want more.
Wow. That's you know, I mean that's a full-time job for most people.
Oh yeah, when my kids were home, just the Social Security in the home, because see, it's a survivor's benefit. We don't have disability. We have retirement survivors because my ex-husband passed away. Right. And our monthly income was right about $6,000. Because I got a check equivalent to what my ex-husband's check is, and my son got a check equivalent to what my ex-husband's check was. So between me and my son, we got about $6,000 a month to take care of our family.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And they just take that money now. Their state is, you know,
it's bullshit.
Privy to that stuff. Yeah, I know. It's because then, how much does each child get for Title IV funding? Like, how much does the federal government put back into Title IV funding that the expenditures from the state, you know, have removed? You know, like these are.
Well,
all
I'll put it to you this way. I know the only thing they're spending out of my son's money on my son is for him to see this one private counselor.
Mm-hmm. Which he shouldn't even be paying for.
Well, his insurance, Medicaid won't pay for it in this state. Well, that particular worker won't. It's for him.
Or is it for the department? Do the department want him to have it?
Well, they
It's just his
say
own
that it helps
personal.
him because since going into care, he now suffers from bad aggressive outbreaks. He suffers from anger management issues. I know it sounds like I'm talking about a grown abusive asshole, but I'm actually talking about a 5-year-old.
It's crazy.
Oh, I sent you an email to your Darren email. I sent you a download of a bunch of cases that outline the definitions of harm and all that.
Oh, good. Thank you. That's really good because I mean we need to put the kibosh to this. I think that this would help so many people, and I don't understand why when you go to court you can't argue this stuff. Like, why is nobody arguing definitions and how they're being implemented? Why is this not a discussion in the courtroom?
Well, it's more than that, though, because it falls down to the discretion of the bench. And that's the problem, is we are giving these judges unlimited discretion.
Yeah.
You know, and so in the interpretations, because see, we just went through this. Actually, I was just working on this same exact argument for an appeal, right? Anyways, the judge made a ruling that was slightly different than what the original custody order said. So the mom wanted to appeal it because she didn't get her way, and dad didn't want the order to change from what the judge made it, and he wanted to file this big response to her appeal. And we had to break down the actual definition of how the judge can interpret best interest of the child. Okay?
That's a joke in itself.
Because best interest of the child is already a interpretation.
Yeah, that's the judge's.
There is no good legal definition, okay, for best interest of the child. Now, when you add in there judicial discretion is about as wide as judicial immunity.
Yeah.
So when you put that all together, realistically, you have now given a judge the unlimited power to use his discretion to decide whether what color shirt you wear that day serves the best interest in the child, and maybe it was too bright and it might make you a target crossing the road, therefore it's an imminent risk of harm.
It's crazy.
And that's what most people don't understand, is that the way our judicial system is set up, and with all these different law doctrines that issue these different little authorities using some constitutional, some statute, some case law to build these protections and definitions, that we have essentially opened it up in a way that we have made these judges God. And if God don't like how you look when you walk in that room, you're not going to get your kid back. Or like, what was her name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Sabrina's case. Her judge with the sexual harassment. She did find out that he ended up getting fired.
Oh, that's good then. All right. This just so overall, the problem here is everything is just so damn vague, right? Like, this is what we see here. It's like we see a bunch of vague terminology that is literally destroying and dismantling families. Just basic words that people are not enforcing, that judges are not challenging, and then themselves are given another go ahead and screw with your life card, another God card, to say now they're even allowed to determine what is the best interest of a child, not based on anything, not anything that's put up in front of it and matched to, just because that judge thinks that this is what the best interest of the child is. So you have imminent, you have neglect, and you have best interest of the child. 3 words that I bet you, if I could bet every person that will watch this show and then hear it and everything, every one of them have imminent, neglect, and best interest in their court case. What do you bet?
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet you 98% of everybody that's dealt with CPS.
Hell, I bet you can look through most people's case and see where the same event, take a single event that occurred at a park while being supervised by the mom, and you can find a way to use the definitions of neglect, imminent danger, and best interest and fit them all to the very same thing because they are so vague.
Yeah. It's crazy. Oh, here we go. Let me see here. How long is this video? The term best interest is used a lot in foster care cases. Okay, here we go. Let's watch this quick video here. Okay. Let's see. Share this. Let's take a share. Let's take it up here. Share screen there. And best interest of the child. There it is. Okay. All right, let's.
The term best interest of the child is used a lot in a foster care case, but what does it actually mean? Look at it as a lens through which the entire proceeding should be viewed, or a touchstone against which to test every decision as to placement and permanency. At every hearing, the judge focuses their findings through this lens to determine what services, actions, and orders will best serve the child and who is best suited to be the child's caretaker. Lots of different factors are considered when making decisions about a child's best interest, including both the child's and parents' circumstances. But a child's ultimate safety and well-being are always the paramount concern. And when considering all of the factors, it's important that the best interest of the child is not interpreted in ways that reinforce racist, sexist, ableist, or classist assumptions about how children should be raised. These assumptions prevent the family from getting the resources, housing, and health care they actually need, and can result in unjust separation. Parents have a constitutional right to the care and custody of their children, so the New Mexico Children's Code mandates that the unity of the family must be preserved whenever possible, and reasonable efforts must be made to prevent removal. And children have a right to grow up with their families, as long as they are safe and cared for. Preserving the unity of the family is so important because relationships with parents, siblings, and other family members are vital to a child's well-being.
Yeah. Now, look at that. Now, how many judges do you know that go by that?
I don't know many judges that go by much other than their pocketbook. The longer the case goes,
I just want the noise.
The longer the case goes on, the more money that is made, in funding off these kids, the longer they keep the cases going.
Right.
Because let's be for real. What have they done for my children in the last 2 years to make their way of life better? Okay? Let's break this part down because, this foster family is supposed to be the great family. Okay, right. They have moved my son because he was 3 when he went into care. At the age of 3, they moved him between 7 different homes and 4 different daycares. By the time he turned 4, they moved him 4 more times and 3 more daycares. He's now about ready to get kicked out of school. He's been bit in the face by a dog. He's had his nose busted. He's had a black eye and all kinds of shit coming in to visit. Okay? So that's what they've done for my son.
Right.
He now
Seems
has
like
to
that's
be in
good.
counseling for anger management. He's living with a foster that is telling him he is not allowed to refer to me as mother. And he is not allowed to refer to JR as father. We are Melissa and JR. Okay, now, my daughter Annabella. Newborn. They took her out of the hospital. No bonding, no nothing, no anything. They gave me a letter stating that there's no indication of harm.
Right.
They bounced her between 4 foster homes 200 miles away for the first 3 months of her life. Then they put her in with the Morrisons. While being in the Morrisons, children were being alleged to being molested by the Morrisons. And we ended up, the department ended up removing her. Within days of being removed, she actually started to talk. She started to try to potty train. She started behaving in a way that was more acceptable for a child of her age. She was more outgoing and happy and willing to play and loving. And before, she was a shell sitting in a corner. To the point that the primary care doctor says you can absolutely not put her back in that home. Now, I got that family attacking me for the custody and ownership of my daughter because they're pissed off that the department took her from them. So, what has the department done to help my children? Now, let's get to the real extreme of it. My oldest daughter, okay? The one that we reached out to the department for counseling and education and things to make a teenager have a good start into an early life. You know, she was sent down here from her dad's house in Michigan to receive services. You know, to help her cope with her childhood traumas from her dad's house, to become a better person, to be able to be on her own, and all that other happy horse shit. Okay? I get her here. I do a CHINS petition, which is a child in need of services. I agreed to be on probation with my daughter. Okay? At first, they was gonna send us to do a psych eval as a family to get a good ruling. Instead, they decide to send her to the most corrupt individual because they want in possession of the younger kids. Okay? This guy said that due to her trauma in Michigan, all children should be removed from my house. Okay? Children he never seen.
Right.
After they removed her, they put her in the first group home where she is talking out about the fact that they would dress her up really pretty and they would get to go serve dinners at these places, and they wore some like kind of skimpy shit. So let's be for real. That's probably something way more scarier than what Sarah even realizes. Okay?
Right.
So after there, they put her into a nut ward. She got her ass beaten so bad in the nut ward, she had to have brain surgery.
Right.
She ran away from there just because she was afraid of dying. She went back to Michigan where she spent 3 months living in the most horrific lifestyle you can because it was still safer than getting help from CPS.
Jesus.
And now she has a child by her rapist because, you know, it was safer to be raped by one than to be raped by many.
Either way,
Okay.
it's a shitty situation to be in, period.
Well, so what has the department done to help my children? My son is of an age that he will remember this for the rest of his life.
Of course.
You know, my daughter's young enough that it may still be a glimpsing memory. But I mean, this is still a horrible thing. You know, what services did they do for me to reunify? I did a parenting class 2 years ago. Completed it with flying colors. The psych eval I paid for myself because they wouldn't write the referral. I did another parenting class that I paid for just because, honestly, I had time and I was trying to kiss ass. And I've done maybe 25 random hair follicles, which of course I've never failed one. I don't even take Tylenol. So, where's my kids? Everything they have asked of me, I have done up to the point that I can't do it no more. So where is the reunification? Where is the upholding the integrity of the department? Where is the best interest? Because I know damn sure if there's a dog in my house that growls at my kid, the dog ain't gonna be in my house no more.
Right.
And when I asked the department, I said, what are these marks on his face? They're like, oh, we don't know. I mean, you could see it was scratch marks right on his eyelid. And I asked him, I said, Junior, what happened to you? Oh, mommy's dog bit me in the face.
Yeah.
Really? Really? You know, and the only thing I've tried asking for is why is it I am on a supervised visit being treated like a freaking criminal? I am stuck in a little room with a glass window with like 15 toys to play with and a bitch sitting behind a two-way mirror. And I'm sure most of the parents that are dealing with the department, they are getting the same treatment.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be non-intrusive, they're supposed to be in a natural setting the most way possible when you're having these visits. It's supposed to be
Well, it's more than that. I mean, everyone needs to look up. Their state will have an administrative policy. You can Google it. You can literally hop on Google and say, what is blah, blah, blah state administrative policy for visitation with a child in foster care? And it will pop up. Mine says the foster parents must instigate it. It must be in a natural-like setting. It says the department should not be involved, and if the case is labeled as reunification, it is encouraged to be as much as every day.
Yep.
I asked the workers during the ISP, I said, and I took this policy in with me on a piece of paper, and I read from the policy. And I said, I want these visits. I want these visits. And they said, well, the only way you're going to get them is file a motion because we're doing this. The director tells us to do this. Okay. Now, I talked to the director 2 days later, and she told me she never said any such thing, and that she was sorry I got treated that way. Well, I'll be seeing her at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we will be getting this worked out. But she's right. I did go file my motion, all 7 pages of it. And I quoted every procedural, every administrative, every case law, everything that applied to why reunification requires visitation. Because if there is not a significant enough bond with the child, that in itself is grounds for termination.
I know that one firsthand. I do. So, I don't know.
And honestly, for a lot of parents and people tuning in, if there's policies that they want to know about or procedures or case laws, anything, let us know. I will look it up on Westlaw, leave an email Darren, anything. I will look these policies, these procedures. I will look them up under their legal definitions, and I'll shoot someone a copy just like I sent Darren 300 freaking cases of California law as to what imminent danger is. Because the more informed a parent is, the more we can do something.
That's a fact. We actually have that. We have that now. We have that questionnaire that I have for you, actually. So now when people, we can start handing these out so we can get more information. Because the more information we have, the better off we are. Like that's the way it is. Works both ways. The more information we have from, when we're trying to help people, and the more information we have for them, like the information is the key to figuring this whole thing out. And once we get this thing aligned, and we get all the information right, then we're going to be able to win this thing, and we're all going to get our kids back. But until then, we all just need to keep sharing information until we get the right thing. Like that's the only thing I can see that. I mean, literally, there are people around this country that are doing nothing wrong at all, and their kids are being taken from them. There is no real solution. But we're gonna find it, and we will.
Well, and the saddest thing of the whole thing is all of these parents that are being mistreated by the system. We are taught to believe in a legal system, a just system that upholds the integrity of law. Well, it used to mean that. When our parents were teenagers, it meant that. Corruption was very far and few, and the integrity of the court was the most important thing.
Yep.
But now,
how the court was viewed by the person, right?
Now it's the integrity of the docket. How many people can be put on a docket? How many people can go through the revolving doors? I mean, a court is literally a revolving ATM.
Yep, it really is.
You are no longer Darren Guy walking into that court. You're number 165 of today. And that's all you are in that court.
Yep.
And the integrity of law is lost.
Yep. And on that note, Melissa, we're at that time. I don't know, is Herbert, you around for the last words here, pal? We know if Herbert's here? There he is.
Hey, Herbert.
I'm here. Yes. I'm here. Herbert is here.
All right, Herbert. We're on last words, buddy.
Yes, last words is listening to Melissa, listening to Darren. You have to learn how to stay away from CPS. Once you're part of that system, you're not going to get out of it.
Oh, he's walking by the lake.
Nope. I'm walking by the lake.
I didn't hear you. You broke up there at the end. What were you? Say it again, Herbert.
Hey, repeat it again. Okay. You kind of got a little bit of a chipmunk effect.
Okay, I'm at by the lake. Can you hear me now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Can you bring me up? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me now? Okay. What I was saying is.
Yep.
Yes,
okay, very good. What I was saying is listening to listen to Darren and Melissa, and listening to their experiences. People have to learn how to stay away from CPS. You have to learn by the rules with your children. Don't make an assumption that it's okay to do this and do that, and it's your child. You can beat them. You can act this way or that way towards them. Don't feel it's okay to do that because you have neighbors watching. You have school teachers listening to children talking about what's going on at home, and that only invites CPS into your house. So, the objective is to stay away from CPS because once you get part of that system, it's hard to get out as you're listening to.
Yep, I agree. Good work, Herbert. I like that. I like that a lot. How about you, Melissa? What about your last word?
My last word would be same as always. As a parent, Don't ever give up on your child as a grandparent, an aunt, uncle, brother, sister. As the family of that child, don't ever quit fighting. Even when everything seems hopeless and there's no way out, no way to turn it around, keep fighting. Because only through fighting can this kid have a hero to look up to. Otherwise, they're just another victim of the system.
Yep, I agree with that, 100%. My last words for today, what are those going to be? There's going to be this. Child a minute is taken into CPS custody. And if you don't pay attention, that child could be yours. So please hear what we say when we say it. We're not saying it just because we want to. We're saying it because we have to. Because not a lot of people know what's going on. And we're just letting you guys know what it is. So that'll wrap up for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. Same time, same place, doing the same thing. Hope Josie's all right. But I'm the CPS Punisher.
the world leader in retail automation. So today we're going to talk about One AI, the most popular product, and how it's basically viable for anybody, whether you're a full-time trader, you're an amateur.
Getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, blind, not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need
am here to share an important message with you. Remember, every minute in the USA, a child is taken by CPS. Watch CPS Victims Hunting Justice every Monday through Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time to learn about the destruction of families. Join us on this journey as we shine a light on the struggles and seek justice for those affected by CPS intervention. Together, let us raise awareness and work towards creating a better future for our children and families. Tune in to CPS Victims Hunting Justice and stand with us in the fight for a fair and just child protection system.
Who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they must feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.